From Chapter 11. The perks of a hard-working physician, I thought. A Porsche and an $8,000 time trial bicycle. Nice. I have 2 more patients after you, and then I leave for Chicago. Triathlon this weekend, my new surgeon, Dr. Moyer, said. He leaned the bike against his office wall and walked to his desk. He picked up a head form and a marker. Come on, let's go into an exam room. I'll give you an idea of what's going to happen. My new surgeon held a silicone head form in the crux of his arm. As we entered the exam room, he inked a dot on the spot of my lesion just in front of the left ear's tragus. I hopped up on the exam table, head form under his arm. Moyer sat down on a rolling chair next to me. He drew a square's worth of dotted lines around the dot. It was a fair approximation of the sutures on the side of my face. Here are the margins that Dr. Ludgate determined. I like to go out a bit further at every margin, maybe 2-3 millimeters or so. Skin, underlying soft tissues, all of it comes out. The muscles stay, because we got to this lesion early. I leave the nerves as much as possible. Nerves, you know, they don't like to grow back. They don't regenerate well, and I want you to have good sensation in your cheek. And you know, if the nerves get nicked, you might lose some muscular control, like you had a small stroke. We don't want that. Bad for you, bad for your looks, bad for my rep. He laughed. I joined in. I got it. I didn't want that either. I wanted normal back. Now, there are also several small arteries. I leave all them in place too. Capillaries, we don't care about them. They'll regenerate. But in general, this is a very careful, very thorough dissection. Look, I say this to all my cancer patients. You see those other patients out there? The facelifts and the nose jobs? I like doing that work. But this kind of work? He nodded at me. This kind of work is why I'm a doctor. Don't get me wrong, the Botox does pay the bills. He shrugged, laughed, and waved towards his bike. Wrinkles do have their advantages, don't they? I said. Yes, indeed, he answered. Dr. Moyer put the head form on the workspace beside him. He drew a solid line. It started near the head form's temple, went straight across to the top of the ear, turned 90 degrees due south, right down to the earlobe at the bottom, and then wrapped it up and behind the ear. He had drawn a square root symbol, in mirror image. That's about where your scar line will be, he said. I'll pull everything up to that line. You'll have some staples and a few stitches. He walked over to my chair. He had a small lens in his hand. Let me see what we have here. Hold still, would you? Again, just as with Barkey and Ludgate, I had a physician breathing in my ear. His hands were on the side of my face. He palpated along my outermost sutures. It felt as if he was drumming his fingers, in slow motion, along the desk that was my face. I felt a few gentle pinches. I think you'll be okay. No graft, he murmured. I can't really tell until we get into the OR, but I suspect you won't need a graft. For an old guy, your skin seems elastic enough. Still, you never know. If I need a graft, I'll pull it from the front of your shoulder. That's the best spot for a face. It'll match up to your complexion nicely. No one will ever know. I am pretty good at this plastic stuff. I laughed. I never doubted.